to make this top 8. 11-3 record. It's a record good enough to make top 8 in a bunch of past regionals. Not here, though.
Yeah, this is going to be one for the history books. Very excited to see both these players go to work here. Looks like they're excited as well. That's what we love to see here. Everything on the line in this final match of Swiss. Looks like nothing too difficult in the prize cards there. Hunter losing a couple of nest ball and a Pokestop, but all in all, I'm going to be very excited to see these prize cards drawn at the right time and maybe keep the ball rolling.
We'll have to see one of those Bravery Charms in those prize cards, but still has access to another one in the list. Looks like our players are pretty much set up and ready to go here, just waiting on the go-ahead from the judges. Here we go, round 15, Kyle. Looks like Hunter is starting things off for us. Sableye in the active spot. Grip of cards in the hand. Must have been a couple mulligans here.
Excuse me? Is that like 10 cards in the opener there?
Yeah, you're only allowed 7 in your opening hand, but if your opponent does not have any basic Pokemon, they're going to shuffle and redraw a new hand, and every time that happens, you get another card.
Yep, occasionally is going to be what we see. And when you get extra cards as Lost Box, you probably find Battle VIP Pass, and we are going to see that as the opener here for Hunter. Unfortunately, starting with that Sableye means that a switching effect or an energy is going to be the price you pay to get a card into the Lost Zone.
It's pretty cheap.
I'm in.
Yeah. Hunter taking a look now through the deck, seeing what cards are prized. When you're playing a deck like this Lost Zone deck, you need to know where everything is, because every single flower selecting Colossus experiment will change the trajectory of the game.
Definitely have to look out for all of the resources that you have, all the different attack power that you can include in this matchup. This is one where we occasionally see that Radiant Greninja really play a pivotal role, get some early damage onto the board, especially with those low hit point V Pokemon on the other side, in that Raichu, and of course with the Raikou V. If you can get the damage on them early on, Sableye cleans up very nicely. Cramorant, also a nice Pokemon too, but let's see Comfey first.
Along with that Radiant Greninja, so concealed cards is available for Hunter. One of the best abilities that we've seen on these Radiant Pokemon, being able to discard an energy, draw 2 cards. Clean, straight, efficient. Has pretty good attack too.
It's my cup of tea. Well, not if you play 1 water, but thankfully we're going to see 4 in this deck. It'd be nice to see the Moonlight Shuriken occasionally here. It looks like we do have the concealed cards lined up with that Lightning Energy. Finding some nice resources there. It looks like Raikou V included, which could occasionally come into play with the Force Seal Stone or be a great attacker, and a Nest Ball included too.
There is a switch cart for the Comfey. Flower selecting gets rid of Escape Rope.
Yeah, just real strong read there from Hunter. Understands, yeah, you could get a couple more switching effects, a few more cards in the Lost Zone with that Escape Rope. However, Dragonite V can be a very nice closeout Pokemon in a matchup like this. If your opponent does start to target down that Miraidon, if you don't have the solution to a Bravery Charm, you're going to have to do 250 damage at some point to get the job done.
You know what does 250 damage?
Dragonite V.
Yeah, buddy. Colossus Experiment found off the top of this flower selecting, but debating, grabbing it, gets rid of that Battle VIP Pass. Colossus is too important.
Well, Jeremy, if you're Bryan, it's your first time on stream. Your opponent's played 87 cards, and then they are nowhere close to done. We see all this, and that is going to be a big turn as you finally get to start playing. But you know, you got Miraidon. Let's tandem unit and get rolling.
Wait a second. I thought you were only allowed 60 cards in a deck.
He recycled them. He played trump card. I don't know.
Okay. Tandem unit from this Miraidon EX will be able to search his deck for 2 basic lightning Pokemon, put them on your bench. You can also stack that ability if you grab another Miraidon. It's one of the best parts about this deck in general. Just very consistent on that turn 1.
Always interesting to see how you want to go about this opening turn. Do love to see the second Miraidon there, get the other tandem unit rolling. Flying Pikachu, easily the first target that we will see And that puts Hunter on a clock. If he wants to attack this Pokemon, knock it out before it becomes a VMAX. You're asking for a lot of resources. You need to have the boss's orders. You need to still get plenty of cards into the Lost Zone if you want to use the Mirage Gate. That's tough. Bryan is going to add some more Pokemon onto the bench, increase the attack power for both of these Raikou V.
As it stands right now, each of the Raikous are just short of taking a knockout on the other. But a simple benched Pokemon will change that. Bryan wanting to get that Mareep down so he can get that Flaffy and Dynamotor going as soon as next turn. But here is the card of the deck, Electric Generator. Look at the top 5 cards, attach up to 2 basic Lightning Energy. Most of the time, that's what happens.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, at least in my
experience.
Okay.
Yeah. Not in round 15 of the first regional of the year, right? Because that's not what you want to see. Maybe if we try again, we can find a Power Surge. No.
See, that's what I told you.
The lights are off. Hunter has nothing else to do but smile and nod. It's tough. It's tough to be on that side of the table and see that. And Bryan's, I mean, he's really looking for some help there. There's Arven
for
hand,
another one.
But the way that he's played this out, it looks like this is a research strategy. You would have easily used the Arven first, thin those cards out, and then gone for the double generator. So needs a little more help, it looks like.
7 energies.
Don't do that to Oh, there's 3!
I mean, you had to find them sometime.
That's true.
That hand is not good either. Ultra Ball, bunch of energies, that path to the peak.
It's brutal. We see the path to the peak. It's going to get played down. There was the potential to maybe incorporate some of the other cards into the mix, that escape rope, but energy already played for the turn onto that Raikou. It's just going to be a pass. Can Hunter take the first strike here?
Forces experiment. Giving Hunter a choice here. Find another one in those 5 cards. Escape rope, Lost Vacuum can get rid of that path to the peak. Also bump up that Lost Zone count to maybe Mirage Gate this turn. I think the last one's Pokestop.
Looks like it. Yeah, Lost Vacuum looks like a really strong piece to see, but not going to need that in this situation. Might have all of the abilities that he needs here, and could just counter the stadium with the Pokestop, keep rolling, draw plenty of cards. There's 2 more items.
Flower selecting, getting rid of that Battle VIP pass, finds an escape rope. And that is another pivot for Hunter here. The way it stands, though, there's 5 in the Lost Zone. Already has another vacuum in hand, so that's pretty good.
Yep, that should certainly help out here. We see the addition of the Pokestop. Oh,
okay.
That's the end of that. Gonna see 2 water energies fall away with that stadium as well, and
I think we heard a lovely from Hunter there.
honestly, when your opponent fails 2 generators, that is to be expected.
Yeah. Escape rope brings up the second copy of Miraidon for Bryan. Meanwhile, Hunter brings that Comfey to the X block. Flower selecting, gets rid of that Battle VIP pass, but finds Forest Seal Stone.
Oof.
And that is such a good card to find here.
Yeah, what a card. You can add this into play, continue to build with that Raikou V. You could even use the Star Alchemy. And if you want, you can use the Lost Vacuum on this card, add even more cards into the Lost Zone, and keep that Pokestop around.
Dragonite V hitting the bench with that Forest Seal Stone. It's going to use the Star Alchemy right away.
Bryan had all the considerations there for avoiding giving up prize cards in this situation. You don't want to lose prize cards early in a matchup like this. Saw the Raikou V, had 4 cards on 4 Pokemon on the bench, so was not going to see a knockout on the Miraidon. Instead, it is the Dragonite V, which can reach the big KO there.
Now with 2 water off the Pokestop, are you just going double Mirage Gate here?
could be the case. We see now 8 cards, I believe, in the Lost Zone. And there we see the Super Rod. That's going to be pretty nice to get some cards back. The problem is now is the energy already in hand, or yeah, it looks like it's going to be the double Mirage Gate. One played there, a second already looming. That's what happens when you have 4 Sealstone. You can find all the resources you need.
The Dragonite V is always a little tricky to attack with, just because most of the time you need a water energy from the hand to help charge up this Dragonite with just a single Mirage Gate. But when you have access to 2 of them, you even get that retreat off that Comfey. And here we're going to see a big Dragon Gale, even having the switch cart to save that energy for the following turns.
It's nice to work this Pokemon in. Take some prize cards while you can. The issue, of course, is Flying Pikachu V is there. If the V Max comes into play, which we expect to see by way of that Ultra Ball in the hand, starts to get tricky for Hunter to find the right prize cards. And eventually, this could catch up to him.
If only there were some extra energies on the board from the previous turn.
Like generated?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
Raichu V is benched for Bryan here. Will be a way to cobble together a knockout if he's able to find the cards available. I think it still would require another generator, because you can go ahead and get a Flaffy. Dynamotor will be able to attach energy to it, but that's 3. That's just 180 damage.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough there. And Flying Pikachu VMAX, if it's not attacking, it's not exactly the Pokemon that you want to go after just yet. If you do find it, then that'd be nice, but it's not there. And so many escape rope on the other side for Hunter. If he could just continue to target down all these Pokemon, the prize cards could be there. Bryan's going to need some help here.
Flying Pikachu is not as good of a card against Lost Zone as it used to be in the past. Really missing that big Parasol item tool now.
The play is going to be the Iono. Bunch of useless cards to the bottom.
I like
maybe the generator on top.
Shuffling the 1 card.
That's clutch. Yeah. You got to make the most of your time on stream, you know? Ooh, that's not it. I think we need this. We're going to need some help. Bailout button. Yeah.
That's not an item. That's not an item, and that's an energy.
Goodbye.
Bail was denied, unfortunately.
That's tough. Do not pass go. Wow, I mean, there's not much to work with there. We see a couple paths to the peak added. This is not exactly the matchup where this buys you an additional turn. Raikou can get some damage onto the board, but that's not going to be enough. Fleet-footed.
Oh, yeah. 200 damage from Lightning Rondo here. Really missing something like a choice belt or something.
Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be crazy.
It's on the other side. It's a one-up in Hunter's list. But Bryan doesn't do that.
180 plus 20 is 200. Oh, yeah, 4.
Some quick maths. Figuring out how much damage Raikou does.
It is funny to see how players go about calculating that, and Bryan's 180 plus 20, because you don't always include the active Pokemon in all the counts. And regardless, it's not a knockout.
Pokestop grabs Super Rod and a couple targets for Hunter there.
Wow. Nice find there. Palpad going to add in another Colress experiment. And really, that's just what you need. You need to continue to keep the ball rolling, draw into the right resources. Your Pokemon's going to be sticking around there in that Dragonite V. You can take another really nice knockout. The damage accumulating on the bench does not matter. The closer we get to boss's orders, escape rope into a V or an EX Pokemon, that could be game 2, ready to roll.
Concealed cards. This card's water energy for Hunter. 2 cards off the top. Plenty of damage on his side of the board, but firmly in the driver's seat for this game 1 here. So only 8 cards in the Lost Zone, so not really having to think about something like a Sableye just yet. Really going to be focusing on these Pokemon V to try to take down their counterparts.
Ooh, Yeah, this boss's orders, I mean, used early but effectively. Removing that Flying Pikachu V avoids a lot of issues that Hunter could run into down the line. And you know that your opponent does play a lot of hand disruption, so while you have it, use it. Get this Pokemon out of the way, and easily you'll have the knockouts lined up. For Pokemon like that Flaffy, maybe you can target down one of these Vs later on too with that Raikou, with the Choice Belt. Could work out.
Super Rod shuffles back just 2 energy, saving the Cramorant. Doesn't need it now. Have kind of a game plan already set forth. Going to take a knockout here, go down to 2 prizes. Hopefully this Raikou will be able to clean things up for him.
Yeah, big turn there, taking that knockout, and of course, still continuing to have some threats lined up. It's going to be up to Bryan to get some hand disruption. Maybe there's a world where Hunter isn't able to reach 10 cards in the Lost Zone, runs into some issues in finding a relevant attack next turn, but you're asking so much if you're Bryan. And I mean, at least you got an energy, my friend. That's half the battle here.
I think Hunter said, at least you earned that one. Still not hitting the full 2 lightning off that electric generator, but finally selling just a little bit. And then Dynamotor grabs another one, so Miraidon EX available to attack.
Yeah, absolutely crucial to find that energy off the electric generator. It's what activates this Miraidon with the 3 energies ready to roll. Well, now we got another. We're just rubbing it in that we found some energies this time. But this does mean that eventually Pokemon like Raichu would be able to close out on another big V2 prize Pokemon. So the pieces are lining up. The hit points are there now with the Miraidon against the Raikou V and the Choice Belt that doesn't have any effect against that EX Pokemon.
I would definitely be careful benching extra cards, but I guess, yeah, the Choice Belt doesn't really matter against those Raichu or Raikou.
This Pokemon should be sticking around. Problem is, once the damage is done, Sableye cleans up. Energy's down, Dragonite down. Prize cards established for Bryan as he tries to make something out of this game 1. Hunter did a lot of thinning last turn, trying to get into a good situation. Can he make something of this?
Comfey to the active with that energy, so you can flower selecting and retreat with that without having to really care about doing anything else just yet. Also would guarantee essentially 2 cards in the Lost Zone with another flower selecting.
I'm unsure if the sequencing was available for Hunter on the previous turn to use that Pal Pad after using the boss's orders. That would have opened up a lot of avenues to take in a knockout on a V Pokemon this turn. Instead, it is going to be the Colress Experiment continuing to dig. But that is good news as we see the 10th card added to the Lost Zone. Super Rod going to bring in some resources. That Dragonite is looking lined up too.
Nest Ball finds that spinning Dragonite V.
Whee!
Mirage Gate, Water, Lightning, Water from the hand, and retreating Dragon Gale for the knockout. 60 damage all over the bench from Hunter there, but able to take game 1 with 3 Dragon Gales.
And a kiss to the people. All right. Yeah, well, I mean, we were what, one more Dragon Gale away from
a tie?
A tie there? I'm not prepared for that.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see it.
I think you're right, too. You just said mulligan 3 times, so 10 cards in hand.
That's brutal. Yeah, for Bryan, I mean, took 18 minutes, took an opening loss, and it looked bad from the get-go. As soon as we saw those electric generators missing, there's just not much that you can do there. Tried to make something out of that game, but you have to be careful, and you have to consider every second of time on the clock when you're trying to make it into top 8.
Now with just over 31 minutes left, Bryan technically has enough time to finish 2 games. They cannot be very long games.
Nope. Maybe you need some mulligans from Hunter this time. But actually, you don't, because that takes too much time off the clock.
Oh, trust me, I know, Kyle.
Yeah, I think you've seen that once or twice, or for like 4 minutes. Yeah.
No, it was 12 minutes.
12 minutes?
4 minutes and then 8 minutes. It was something else.
Yeah, I must have fallen asleep during that game, but I didn't fall asleep here. This was an unreal turn got all those cards in the Lost Zone, was zooming, found the right pieces. Dragonite able to take a big knockout. Unreal closeout there for Hunter.
You fell asleep in the booth? You were commentating, Mike. Nice.
Then just play better. I don't know what
True.
to tell you.
That's why you make day 2 and I don't.
Hey, we got to start this.
I mean, I do get some pretty good matchups
You
on
do,
stream.
yeah.
I'm not going to complain. Well, we'll see if Hunter can make the most of this one. I feel like this is a favorable matchup for the Lost Zone players. So often you're able to just get a lot of damage established on these low hit point Pokemon. Looks like we will see Bravery Charms for Bryan this time around. None in the prize cards. We can work with that. No, we can't work with that though, Hunter. What are you doing?
Oh, it's
Oh,
for
man.
for Mew, right?
Yep.
It's not the 151 set yet, Jeremy. We're not ready.
No, I did say I was going second. Yeah.
Oh no.
So that's my fault. Yeah.
So I think what happened here is Bryan chose to go second.
Yeah. I mean, it's
But
right
then
here. I
drew a
haven't-
card
don't put my
like
hand
he
on
was
it.
going first.
I mean, do you still want to go second, or do you just want to go first now? Like, I mean, I'm cool with you just going first and not getting a penalty, but
Well,
they're probably going to.
I don't think you can change your mind, Hunter.
I'm cool with
We've
it.
already
I don't-
seen
I'm
the
not
opening
gonna-
hands, so going second means you are going second. But I do appreciate the fact that Hunter just wants to play Pokemon. He doesn't
Oh,
want
yeah.
to see any issues. He just wants to play.
Yeah, it's okay.
So we're going to take our time here, let the judges figure out what needs to be done. Unsure of if Bryan saw the card. We got to the screen a little late.
It's
Listen, they don't call it hashtag play Pokemon for nothing.
That's right. We want to.
Hunter's
Yeah, no,
really
exactly.
embodying.
I'm not. That's not
the-
me. That's not
the
me.
format.
You're good. That's his card.
Yeah, we've seen Hunter time and time again on the big stage. He had a win and in at EUIC. I think the first time that we ever met him was playing Stunfisk in top 8
Oh, yeah,
of
that was
NAIC.
great. Spiritomb Stunfisk. That was a deck for sure.
Yeah, that's one that really put him on everyone's radar as a deck innovator and also just a great talent in the game. It's always nice to see him playing at the top tables.
Also taking down
Big.
Dallas Regionals, one of the last expanded tournaments that we had with that Turbo Giratina.
Oh, thank God for
tag
that.
team, yeah.
I'm done with expanded. that's going to be good and fine for me. For players, it's tough
Yeah,
enough
both
to keep up with all of the cards.
no.
Imagine
Before
for
you even tournament,
commentators
those were all
when people just bring up things that existed 7 years ago. No thanks.
Yeah, don't bring up things existing 7
Okay.
years ago. Don't bring up new Pokemon around Kyle. He learned what Meowscarada EX looks like for the very first time this weekend.
That's true. I only have the full arts, so I don't want no scrub.
I don't. Yeah.
I was really hoping that the Arceus Meowscarada could pull through. Started out 4-0.
Wow, I didn't know that. I saw the Torterra guy at 2-0.
Yeah.
That was cool enough. But hey, we're ready to play Pokemon. Let's go.
It looks like a simple resolution. We'll get word if there is a penalty for that or if it's just a warning. But Hunter's starting things off lightning fast here. Escape rope that Drapion V out of the active spot. Flower selecting with the Comfey. I think was eyeing down double battle VIP pass.
Yeah, no wonder he wanted to play Pokemon. Look at this. he's rolling. Comfey already in the active spot. He's going to find some additional friends here.
And with those two red Pokeballs under the name for Hunter, that means there was a double prize loss for Bryan awarded for seeing that extra card.
I mean, how do you come back from that? If Hunter has the classic setup here and is able to find a few Comfeys, get some cards into the Lost Zone, I mean, that is so tough. It has to be a very aggressive Flying Pikachu V Max. Maybe work that Raikou in before your opponent gets to a Mirage Gate situation, but Bryan needs to have a stellar turn here.
Really making a bad matchup worse here with that penalty. Hunter, meanwhile, this battle pass, able to search through the deck, see that, Cramorant's prize, it's pretty much it.
Well, who needs to deal 110 when
All right.
you could
I got my-
snipe 90s and blow Pokemon up left and right with Raikou, Dragonite. I like that a lot.
Radiant Greninja and a second Comfey go to the bench off that Battle VIP pass. That means more cards are coming for Hunter off the top of the deck.
Did we even get word of who's going first?
I'm pretty sure it was Hunter.
Okay.
Because Bryan wanted to go second in the first place.
I just won't talk about supporter cards unless they get played. Oh, look at this. Another situation with cards flying off the top.
And
It's going to be another Battle VIP.
This is slipping out of the fingers for Bryan with every card that Hunter plays.
I'm curious if you even want to play
I was
another
just
Pokemon
about
at
to
this
say,
point.
yeah.
Yeah, if you do play one, I think Dragonite is the best call. Means that your opponent isn't deciding how much damage you're doing. You are going to be dictating that with the Dragon Gale. It's a Pokemon that you can work into the mix early, really put the pressure on Bryan. And with the 2 prize penalty, I think that is also playing a role for Hunter. You can put on a lot of aggression, not worry about hand disruption, just take those prize cards as fast as possible. If he has a couple switching effects here, and retreating is going to be number 1.
Water Energy to the discard. Second flower selecting looks like Mirage Gate, Pal Pad, and we can get rid of that Pal Pad. We don't need that.
I don't think we're going to see turn 4, Jeremy, so Pal Pad's dumb. Let's add Mirage Gate and get rolling.
I'm a fan of turn 3, Jeremy.
Turn 3 doesn't happen. Turn 3 is not real.
4 Sealstone on that Drapion V, saving it for a future use. Now passing it back to Bryan. So Hunter was turn 1.
Good to know. Bad to know. Bryan's hand. At least there's a 4 Sealstone, but yeah, it's got to be used right now.
You hate to see it. This will allow Bryan to search his deck for any card. And I think I down a Professor's Research.
What's
Arvin,
the hand
maybe?
says? I'm not going back in. This hand stinks. I need to find some help right here, right now. An electric generator.
Speaking of help, top 5 cards. Hey, there we go.
All right, it was it was earned at that point. This is,
Yep, definitely
hey,
needed
no,
those
deserved that
cards
one.
to help out here. Raikou V already lined up to take a knockout as long as they can reach the active spot. Decision to be made here. He has the escape rope before using the supporter. It's going to be another Comfey.
I like playing it, especially when you already got the 2 energy. You have your attack for the turn. Going to be able to knock out anything that Hunter really brings up. And then you get that fleet-footed for an extra decision here.
Yeah, that's actually pretty surprising to see. It's incorporating the fleet-footed before the research. I assumed that meant Path to the Peak was going to be played, and instead that's not going to be the case. Maybe a consideration for Miraidon and Tandem Unit helping out, but that's not going to be happening here either. So
How about
adding
like
a
4
card.
energy? 3.
I mean, I'd love to see one more card in this hand instead, but it's not going to be the case, is it? Instead, let's take a knockout and see what Hunter is rolling with here.
Bryan did find a second Path to the Peak, though, so went ahead and played that down to stop the concealed cards from Radiant Greninja and the wild style from Drapion V.
Can we give Hunter a prize penalty for playing those Rainbow Chorus? I mean, come on, man.
Listen, that's the beauty about Pokemon. There's so many different arts for a lot of these popular cards. You can just play whatever you want.
Beauty's not the word I'd use, Jeremy, but thanks. It's good to know.
It's in the eye of the beholder. That's
Well, I don't have a Vespiquen. We're going to see Comfey there, adding one more card into the Lost Zone. This is where it gets dangerous. Of course, Hunter still has access to that Forest Seal Stone to get more cards into the Lost Zone. Looks like the town store is open even on Sunday.
that's pretty surprising.
Good hours.
Do they have good benefits?
No.
Oh. Same.
What do you really need from the store at this point?
Tools.
Okay, we'll add another one, even though it does nothing. But at this point, thinning is winning, and looks like Hunter is doing just that.
Winning.
Yes,
Yeah.
and thinning.
Now, using that Forest Seal Stone, that Star Alchemy, search your deck for any card. We've already seen the Colossus experiment for the turn. There's 6 in the Lost Zone, maybe eyeing down Lost Vacuum if you have those Mirage Gate in hand.
Yeah, kind of tricky. Looks like there's already a lightning energy in hand. There's a lightning energy in the Lost Zone, so it'd have to be the double Mirage Gate of water energies if you want to attack with the Dragonite V in this spot. Of course,
Super
very well done here. Sees that issue, throws away the lightning energy with the Radiant Greninja, could then Super Rod this energy back into the deck and then find it by way of the Mirage Gate. So Hunter really showing off some prowess here.
The sequencing has been perfect so far from Hunter. Super Rod shuffling back in. A Psychic, a Water, and a Lightning. There's the Mirage Gate, grabbing the 2 of the energy that he just put back into the deck.
Oof.
Dragon Gale is now online, has the switch out potentially in hand. It's really the only thing missing here for a big knockout.
I just love to see this. I mean, see the speed that he does this with as well. Just really understands this deck inside and out. Considering everything, of course, as you move into this next turn, this is a big turn where Bryan could have some hand disruption. You've already established one of your big hitters, and it's not guaranteed that it's going to stick around when you see a Raichu on the other side. So, do you want to establish the Raikou V this turn? I'd certainly consider it.
Hunter really taking the time, looking through the deck.
I was thinking about playing another card, but I'm not.
Another Mirage Gate in hand. You'd have to assume he has the switch out.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
The issue now is hopefully it's not the escape rope, and it's not. It's going to be that switch card. Lines up perfectly to attack into the right Pokemon here. It is that Raikou V.
Dragon Steel.
Big threat already knocked out. And Hunter, although it says that he's got 4 prize cards there, 2 more means the match and means his first top 8 berth of the season.
Everyone's first top 8 berth of the season.
Especially Hunter's. I don't have word on the other guys.
Energy for turn on the Raichu V in the active spot. Bravery Charm. Not going to do too much in the face of a 250 damage Dragon Gale. Bryan does have the Iono, though, and even though, like you said, Hunter only needs
4, right? Yeah.
2 prize
Making sure
cards
we
to
didn't-
win,
we didn't change that.
the way the penalty works, you still have those 4. So Iono drawing 4 cards for Hunter here. Bryan gets 5.
Yeah, I wonder if there were considerations to using the town store. You could look through, maybe pull one of those tool cards out before you use Iono and have a little more of a chance to draw into a card like that Electric Generator. Get some more energies onto the board. As right now, as it stands, Flaffy is going to be in the mix. Add 1 more card to the board, but Raichu's still not taking a knockout.
Yeah, I think with the 5 cards Bryan drew, you're not getting there. You needed an Electric Generator, hitting just 1 extra Lightning Energy to be able to take the knockout. But Dynamotor grabs you 1. You already attached for the turn, and that's a hand of Raikou V and Lightning Energy. This Dragonite V is sticking around, and you have to retreat to Flaffy?
Yep, there's no other thing you can do here. Bryan's just going to take a moral victory of attacking in. Hunter Butler going to be taking a huge victory here. 2-0 sweep, and that means that Hunter is going to be at 35 points, something that we should note is not a guarantee, but certainly puts him in contention to find his way in the top 8. Yeah, he hears me. Hunter Butler really trying to get the job done here. We're going to love hearing from him, a great player in his own right. And unfortunate there for Bryan. Wasn't able to get the job done. Just the card's not falling in the right direction.
Oh, not at all. Just those Electric Generators, game 1, whipping both of them. And then Dragonite V is the kryptonite of Miraidon.
It's a really good card.
Yeah.
Obviously, we saw it included into the Turbo decks by way of what Caleb Gettimer back in Milwaukee all that time ago, and it has been a staple ever since then. Love to see this Pokemon get into the mix, deal so much damage to your opponent and yourself, but who cares? You can get that spinning top of a Pokemon out right here, right now, as Hunter did, and woo! There we go. Let's get some energies on that bad boy and take a quick game 1.
know, the animation effects that they've done is just insane. You know?
Yeah, TCG Live is going crazy right now. It's really taken on a whole new wave.
Game 1 also, Hunter benefited from 3 mulligans from Bryan to get those extra cards, get that early setup. And Bryan, meanwhile, had that turn 1 Lightning Rondo, but thanks to that double prize loss, Dragonite V, Dragon Gale 1. And then you got a Dragon Gale number 2. And that does it for our round 15 here. Hunter, 35 match points. Bryan was 33, so if he would have won, that'd be 36. Guarantee himself into top cut, but it's such a hard matchup to face in the final round. Trying to play on stream for the first time, make top 8 for the first time. It's a lot of stuff going through your head.
Yep, a lot of pressure, not the best matchup. We've seen some players talk about it and say, I think Bravery Trumps solves it. Don't think that's exactly the answer right now. I mean, of course, having those hit points can be helpful, but playing against a deck, what, 3 loss vacuum usually? It's not going to stick around always. Some